That's some pretty fucking young shit. I ain't even gonna hold you. I ain't even gonna hold you. Let me get up. Sorry. All right, so I'm going to we're going to I don't know if it's too loud. Maybe too loud. Right. So, alright, so turn it down a little bit. I got it on loop. Hear my voice instrumental by Celeste. And Charlie Xavier here recording live. It's 10:55 p.m. Eastern Time on November 4th, 2022. You know, we're about to read this script. The Trial of the Chicago 7. I've already read it, but this morning when I was trying to record it on the Tascam, I was having space issues, so it stopped. So I recorded it on my phone, and I'm going to upload that, but I still want to have a copy from the Tascam. So we're gonna just go over it. We're just gonna start it over. I have today ordered to Vietnam, the Air Mobile Division, and certain other forces, which will raise our fighting strength from 75,000 to 125,000 almost immediately. This will make it necessary to increase our active fighting forces by raising the monthly draft from 17,000 to 35,000 per month. June 3rd. All those whose birthday falls on June 3rd. President Johnson announced new monthly draft totals increasing to 35,000 per month, 43,000 per month, 51,000 per month. 382,386 men between the ages of 18 and 24 have now been called to duty. It should be incandescently clear that no one who has any concern for the integrity of life in America today can ignore the present war. If America's soul becomes poisoned, part of the autopsy must read Vietnam. What we need in the United States is not hatred, but love and wisdom. So I ask you to return home and say a prayer for the family of Martin Luther King. April 22nd. All those whose birthday falls on April 22nd. We were there. We didn't see Vietnamese soldiers. What we saw were population centers, schoolhouses, pagodas, women and children. And that's American napalm. The women and children were burned alive. Tom? Okay, cool. The Democratic Party is going to nominate Hubert Humphrey next month in Chicago. When it comes to the war, when it comes to social justice, there's simply not enough of a difference between Hubert Humphrey and Richard Nixon to make a difference. And so we're going to Chicago. Young people by busloads will go to Chicago to show our solidarity and our disgust. And most importantly, to get laid by somebody you just met. To get laid by someone you just met. 536,000 of us sent to a country not one of these bumper sticker patriots in Washington could find on a map with a motherfucking map. We're going to Chicago. Anyone who stays in the pod, sees Woody Guthrie, they're going to be fine. But the cops are going to be a half inch from losing their fucking minds. Because Daley's going to wind them up to make sure of it. We're going to Chicago peacefully. We're going peacefully. But if we're met there with violence, you better believe we're going to meet that violence with nonviolence. Always nonviolence. And that's without exception. What if the police start hitting you? Why would the police start hitting me? What if they do? I'll duck. David, he watches the news. Why? You taught him to. Guys, I've organized 100 protests. This one isn't going to be any different in that it almost certainly won't work. The police? I'm not worried about the police. And I'm not worried about Hayden and Rennie Davis. I'm worried about Hoffman and Rubin. It's the Democratic National Convention, honey. Every camera in America is going to be pointed at it, and Daley isn't going to let his city become a theater of war. And Hoffman and Rubin are geniuses in their own special way. Oh, Jesus. He's got a scout meeting tonight at 7. Dad, if the police try to arrest me, I'll do what I always do and what I've taught you to do. Which is what? Which is what? Tell me, bud. Very calmly and very politely. Fuck the motherfuckers up. They leave us alone and everything's cool. They tangle, disrupt, intimidate. They play it fast and loose with the First Amendment. Robert, they start breaking heads? Then no, we would not be on our way. You can't give this speech in Chicago. Fred Hampton wants me there. Let Fred give the speech. Between Hayden and Hoffman, there could be 5,000 people. It'd be nice to talk to 5,000 people. But not while you're in trouble in Connecticut. Yes, while I'm in trouble in... I'm the head of the Black Panthers, Sandra. When the hell am I not going to be in trouble? You're going to be in a lot more of it if you stand up and say, fry the pigs, if they attack you. This shit is beautiful. This shit is fucking beautiful. It's my favorite movie of all time. As far as like something brand new. It's not an old movie. It's my favorite contemporary movie. My favorite Netflix movie of all time. Like this right here. Wow. Like Aaron Sorkin. Like, man. That's the dude I want to work with. Damn. This script right here, man, just... Oh, man. Damn. Man. If the police try to arrest me, I'll do what I always do. And what I've taught you to do. Which is what? Which is what? Tell me, bud. Very calmly and very politely. Fuck the motherfuckers up. They leave us alone and everything's cool. They tangle, disrupt, intimidate. They play it fast and loose with the First Amendment. Robert, they start breaking heads. Then no, we would not be on our way. You can't give the speech in Chicago. Fred Hampton wants me there. Let Fred give the speech. Between Hayden and Hoffman, there could be 5,000 people. It'd be nice to talk to 5,000 people. Not while you're in trouble in Connecticut. Yes, while I'm in trouble in... I'm the head of the Black Panthers, Sandra. When the hell am I not going to be in trouble? You're going to be in a lot more of it if you stand up and say, fry the pigs. If they attack you, you're taking it out of context. So will every white person in America. Cops don't give a shit about context, and you don't have enough protection in Chicago. There's no place to be right now but in it. But fry the pigs? If they... Dr. King is dead. He has a dream, but now he has a fucking bullet in his head. Martin's dead. Malcolm's dead. Meg is dead. Bobby's dead. Jesus is dead. They tried it peaceful. We're going to try something else. Sandra, I'll be there for 4 hours. That's it. Travel pack? See? Snack? You at least going to take one of these? If I knew how to use that, I wouldn't need to make speeches. It's named after the Russian Commissar Vasily Mikhailovich Molotov. You start with the glass bottle. You pack the styrofoam, and now your cherry bomb. Some chewing gum around the top, and a fuse. Now, is that Jerry? Yeah. Tell him to tell Abby that we're going to Chicago to end the war and not to fuck around. Tom says to tell Abby we're going to Chicago to end the war and not to fuck around. Hayden says we're going to Chicago to end the war and not to fuck around. Tell Hayden I went to Brandeis and I can do both. People say, you know, Abby, are you concerned about an overreaction from the cops? I have issued by an order to shoot to kill any arsonist or anyone with a Molotov cocktail in his hand. We're not concerned about it. 4 units of the Illinois National Guard, totaling 5,000 troops, have been deployed to Chicago. We're counting on it. We want to underscore again that we're coming to Chicago peacefully, but whether we're given permits or not, we're coming. An additional 10,000 Chicago police officers, including riot squads. We are not going to storm the convention with tanks or mace, but we are going to storm the hearts and minds of the American people. These people are revolutionaries, bent on the destruction of the United States of America. A democratic convention is about to begin in a police state. There just doesn't seem to be any other way to say it. You've arrived at a moment in history. Pardon me? They're changing the picture. Tom? Howard? You flew in all right? Sure. Richard Schultz? Yes, sir. Howard Ackerman, Special Advisor to the Attorney General. Pleased to meet you. Were you told what this was about? No, sir. Just to meet Mr. Ferran at O'Hare this morning, that we were flying to Washington and that we were meeting Mr. Mitchell. Good. They're finally changing the picture. Come on in. As a matter of courtesy and tradition, when we elect the new president, the outgoing cabinet members resign to spare the new president the unpleasantness of firing them. You know when President Nixon received Ramsey Clark's formal letter of resignation? No, sir. About an hour before I was confirmed. That was to embarrass me. I don't know. I think it was more embarrassing for Ramsey Clark. I'm John Mitchell. Thomas Ferran, Mr. Attorney General, and this is Richard Schultz. Richard, Chicago was more fucked up than any 10 things I've ever seen in my life. Sir? The convention. The riots. Yes, sir. Johnny Walker okay with everybody? Thank you. Richard? Nothing for me. Thank you. We don't know how Humphrey's people could have been that stupid. Allow their guy to get nominated under armed guard. You think that's what lost him the election? Sir? Son, are you nervous? No, sir. Why the fuck not? I'm kidding. Don't believe everything you've heard about me. Ramsey Clark gives me the finger on the way out the door. I'm asking if you think Chicago is why Humphrey lost the election. No, sir. I think the Republicans ran a better candidate. That's for damn sure. And Daley didn't help his party either, but Humphrey's people and Daley didn't break the law, so that's someone else's table. Well, as a matter of fact, sir, we don't believe any federal laws were broken last summer. Mr. Ferran had our office run a thorough investigation, plenty of trespassing, destruction of public property, lewd behavior, I suppose, but nothing rising to the level of, do you think you and your boss are in the Attorney General's office because I want you to seek an indictment for violating a federal trespassing law? Sir, our office wasn't aware the Justice Department wanted to seek any indictments at all. We do. Ramsey Clark was dead set against bringing federal. Ramsey Clark doesn't run the Justice Department anymore. Did you know about that? Ramsey Clark doesn't run the Justice Department anymore. Did you hear about that? and Mr. Johnson's back home in Texas. Of course, sir. 1 hour before my confirmation hearing gavelled, that's when he resigned. What a prick. It was unprofessional, sir. Unprofessional? It was unpatriotic. And I'll tell you what else. It was impolite. There's a such thing as manners. I want to bring back manners. How about that? How about that? The America I grew up in. Will you help me, Mr. Schultz? Because I asked Mr. Ferran who was the best prosecutor in his office, and he said you. Thank you. Section 2101 of Title 18. That's the federal law that was broken. That's the Rap Brown law. Conspiracy to cross state lines in order to incite violence. It comes with a 10-year maximum, and we won all 10. For whom, sir? The All-Star team. Abby Hoffman, Jerry Rubin, Tom Hayden, Rennie Davis, Dave Dellinger, Lee Weiner, John Froines, and Bobby Seale. I call them the schoolboys. And when I do, everyone here knows who I'm talking about. Petulant and dangerous. And we've watched for a decade while these rebels without a job who've never got... And we've watched for a decade while these rebels without a job who've never bothered to get their hands dirty, fighting the enemy, tell us how to prosecute a war. The decade's over, the grown-ups are back, and I deem these shitty little fairies to be a threat to national security. So they're going to spend their 30s in a federal facility, real time. You're lead prosecutor, Richard. You understand why I couldn't tell you until we got here? Sure, yes, sir. Richard, you're being given the ball. Are you ready to do this? You pay me for my opinion. What? I said, sir, you pay me for my opinion? Where'd you learn that? In class? I pay you to win. I'm not sure we can get a good indictment on conspiracy. I'm not sure we can get a good indictment on... I'm not sure we can get a good indictment on conspiracy. Why not? For one thing, some of these people had never met each other. Telephones? Mr. Attorney General, the Rap Brown law was created by Southern whites in Congress to limit the free speech of black activists. Civil rights activists who were coming in from the... I know why it was... Why the fuck is he teaching? It doesn't matter why the law was passed. It matters what it can do. We're not sure what it could do because no one's ever been charged with it. That makes it exciting. It's virgin land, undeveloped real estate. It's a law, and they broke it. Of course. Is there a problem? No, sir. Say what you want. Say what you want to say. Since apparently I'm paying you for your wisdom, give me my money's worth. There will be people who will see this as the Justice Department restraining free speech, and there will be people who will see these men as martyrs. Are any of those people in this room? No, sir. You're 33, and you're about to be named lead prosecutor in the most important trial in your lifetime after having been handpicked by the Attorney General. I'm about to do that right now. I'm about to do it right now. But before I do, let me ask you, how do you see them? Personally, or in terms of personally? I see them as vulgar, anti-establishment, antisocial, and unpragmatic. But none of these things are indictable. Then imagine how impressed I'll be when you get an indictment. And there's the bigger question, which is, who started the riot? Was it the protesters, or was it the police? The police don't start riots. They'll have witnesses who will say they started this one. And you'll dismantle them. And you'll win. Because, Mr. Schultz, that's what's expected of you. Yes, sir. You didn't show a lot of gratitude in there. On top of everything else, we're giving them exactly what they want. A stage and an audience. You really think it's going to be a big audience? The whole world is watching. The whole world is watching. The whole world is watching. Yes, sir. I do. You alright? I was until I saw this. Most of them are on our side. We love you, Abby! Jesus Christ, how'd you do that? Experience. You don't know what to do with the egg now, do you? No. Hang on. Quiet down, please. I want you all to meet a new addition to the defense team. This is Leonard Weinglass, one of this country's most talented First Amendment litigators. Hang on. Quiet down, please. I want you all to meet a new addition to the... Hang on. Quiet down, please. I want you all to meet a new addition to the defense team. This is Leonard Weinglass, one of the country's most talented First Amendment litigators. Bill, can you tell us... Go ahead, Cy. Can you tell us the status of Charles Gary? Charles Gary is still in the hospital, and you should contact his office for information, Marjorie. Does that mean you're representing Bobby Seale today? It's very important that it be understood that for his own protection, I am not acting as Bobby Seale's attorney today. One more. Jack, Bill, I was told that it was Hayden who wanted to bring Mr. Weinglass in, that Hayden has concerns about your seriousness. Well, this is William Kunstler. You want to find out how serious he is? Meet him at a witness stand. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Weiner? Yeah? I get why they're trying to smoke Abby and Jerry and Hayden, even Rennie and Dellinger. But for the life of me, I can't figure out what the two of us are doing here. I feel exactly the same way. But this is the Academy Awards of protest, and as far as I'm concerned, it's an honor just to be nominated. What is that? I've been keeping a list every day. Americans who've been killed since the day we were arrested. Why? With the trial starting, it might be easy to forget who this is about. Fellas, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I just got a question about my seriousness. Whatever's going on between you and Abby, keep it out of this building. I just feel like this is gearing up to be... Fred? Bill? Did you have breakfast this morning? What? Did you have breakfast? I did. What'd you have? What are you doing? I'm talking to him about breakfast because that's the only thing I'm allowed to talk to him about. That's right. Bobby, we have instructions from our lawyer. If you need me, I'm sitting right there. You just look at me and say, I need you. We don't need you. You two gonna be like this? They shouldn't sit together. The jury's not gonna like that look. This isn't my jury, and if they don't like the look, they can... No, he's right. Spread out, okay? In pairs. And Fred? No, they're dressed just fine. It's all right. And take your very scary hats off. Don't mess us up. All right. Good pep talk. You see the crowd out there? I have an egg. Get rid of that. You don't think I want to? It's like we're, what's his name? It's like we're, what's his name? We just met him, yeah? What is his name? Who? The drummer. The greatest drummer ever. Gene Krupa? No, I'm talking about Gene Krupa? I'm talking about the drummer for Cream. We just met him last night. Ginger Baker. Thank you. The crowd outside is so big, it's as if we were Ginger Baker, is what I was trying to say. Are you stoned? Yeah. You? You remember what I said. Okay. And you remember to keep us out of prison. A lot of good advice this morning. All rise. Hear ye, hear ye. September 26, 1969, 10 o'clock a.m., all persons having business before the United States District Court of Northern Illinois, Southern District, Eastern Division, draw near, and they shall be heard. Judge Julius Hoffman, presiding. God save the United States of America and this honorable court. Mr. Marshall, bring in our jury. As I look out into the gallery, I see we have a full house. Some of you started forming a line early this morning. I'll caution you that this isn't a sporting event. Let the record show that we've been joined by our 12 jurors and 4 alternates. Mrs. Winter, please call the case. 69 CR 180, United States of America versus David Dellinger, Renard C. Davis, Thomas Hayden, Abbott Hoffman, Jerry C. Rubin, Lee Weiner, John R. Froines, and Bobby G. Seale for trial. Are the people ready to make opening arguments? Are the people ready to make opening arguments? Are the people ready to make opening arguments? We are, Your Honor. I don't have my lawyer here. It's not your turn to speak. My trial has begun without my lawyer. Please sit, Mr. Schultz. Good morning. My name is Richard Schultz, and I'm an assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Illinois. Seated at my table is my boss, U.S. Attorney Thomas Farran. I guess you could say I'm seated at his table. At the defense table are the 8 defendants, represented by their lawyers, William Kunstler and Leonard Weinglass. The defendants would tell you they represent 3 different groups. They would tell you that one group, excuse me? Yes, sir. I'd like to clarify something for the jurors. There are 2 Hoffmans in this courtroom, the defendant, Abby Hoffman, and myself, Judge Julius Hoffman. Thank you, sir. I didn't want there to be any confusion on the matter. Man, I don't think there's much chance they're going to mix us up. You will address this court as judge, or your honor, and you will not address this court until... You will not address this court. The defendants will tell you they represent 3 different groups. And the record should reflect that defendant Hoffman and I are not related. Father, no! Mr. Hoffman. Mr. Hoffman, are you familiar with contempt of court? It's practically a religion for me, sir. Your Honor, continue. Rennie Davis and Tom Hayden are the leaders of the SDS, Students for a Democratic Society. Hayden and Davis brought their people to Chicago for the purpose of causing violence in the streets in order to disrupt the national... Rennie Davis and Tom Hayden are the leaders of the SDS, Students for a Democratic Society. Hayden and Davis brought their people to Chicago for the purpose of causing violence in the streets in order to disrupt the Democratic Convention. You know, the Youth International Party as the Yippies. Their leaders are Abby Hoffman and Jerry Rubin. Bobby Seale is the leader of the Black Panther Party. The defendants will tell you these are 3 distinct groups, but they're all... Excuse me? Yes? May I speak? No, sir. He just said my name. You're a defendant in this case. You're likely to hear your name. I have a right to counsel, and His Honor knows that. Don't tell the court what it does and doesn't know. Be seated. Mr. Schultz. The radical left, that's all. They're the radical left in different costumes. The 8 defendants had a plan. A plan among 2 or more people is a conspiracy. The defendants crossed state lines to excuse the radical left. That's all. They're the radical left in different costumes. The radical left. That's all. They're the radical left in different costumes. The 8 defendants had a plan. A plan among 2 or more people is a conspiracy. The defendants crossed state lines to execute their plan. God damn it, Keith. I'm trying to read some shit. The radical left. That's all. They're the radical left in different costumes. The 8 defendants had a plan. A plan among 2 or more people is a conspiracy. The defendants crossed state lines to execute their plan. That's why we are in federal court. The plan was to incite a riot. And there's one thing you already know. They succeeded. Excuse me. Have we identified the other defendants for the record? Mr. Weiner? Mr. Freund, and Mr. Dillinger? Dellinger. What is going on here? Your Honor, you're referring to the defendant Dellinger. Derringer. Dellinger, sir. Note the prosecution was referring to the defendant Derringer, not Dellinger. It is Dellinger, Your Honor. Can we straighten this out? Dillinger was a bank robber. Derringer is a gun. He's David Dellinger. And the judge and I are not related. Your Honor, I'd like to caution the court that this kind of disruption and display of disrespect would be a continuing tactic for defense. Sir, it's not a tactic. At the moment, the defendants are the only ones on record as knowing their names. Sir, it is not a tactic. At the moment, the defendants are the only ones on record as knowing their own names. Be seated, Mr. Schultz. Mr. Kunstler. I object to being characterized as a member of this group. Who is your lawyer? Charles R. Gary. Is Mr. Gary here today? No, he's not. Your Honor, are you representing Mr. Sill? No, sir. Then sit, Mr. Schultz. Forgive me. Have you concluded your opening statement? Yes, Your Honor. My lawyer, Charles Gary, is in a hospital in Oakland having undergone gallbladder surgery. Mr. Consular, you're sitting right next to the man. Just represent him. It's the same case. The fact that there's a lawyer near Mr. Sill doesn't satisfy the requirements of due process. I have a right. A motion was made for postponement due to Mr. Gary's medical condition. I was there. Your Honor denied that motion, and therefore Mr. Sill is here without legal representation. I don't care for your general tone, Mr. Consular. I meant no disrespect to the court, sir. I'm trying to be clear that I can't muddy Mr. Sill's grounds for appeal by appearing to speak as his lawyer. I don't ask you to compromise Mr. Sill's position, sir, but I will not permit him to address the jury with his very competent lawyer seated. Jesus Christ, for the 4th time, he's not Bobby's lawyer. You're Mr. Rubin? Yes, sir. Don't ever do that again. Your Honor, I'm not with these guys. Your Honor, I'm not with these guys. I never even met most of them until we'll have order. The indictment. We will have order. There are 8 of us, and there are signs out there that say, "Free the Chicago 7." I'm not with them. Mr. Marshall, will you seat Mr. Sill? You're saying it's a conspiracy. I never met most of them until the indictment. Speaking frankly, the U.S. attorney wanted a Negro defendant to scare the jury. I was thrown in to make the group look scarier. I came to Chicago, I gave a speech, I had a chicken pot pie, went to the airport, and flew back to Oakland. And that's why they called the 8 of us the Chicago. Get your hands off me. Charge Mr. Sill with 1 count of contempt of court. We have to make a decision right now. A decision I just assumed we had already made 4 months ago when trial prep began. Are we using this trial to defend ourselves against very serious charges that could land us in prison for 10 years? Or are we using it to say a pointless fuck you to the establishment? Fuck you. That's what I was afraid. Wait, I don't know if you were saying fuck you or answering the question. I was also confused. If we leave here without saying anything about why we came in the first place, it'll be heartbreaking. If the jury finds us guilty, we're not going to be leaving here at all. And the only thing we need to say about why we came is that it wasn't to incite violence. I'm with Jerry. Why? The trial shouldn't be about us. I would love if it wasn't about us, but it definitely is. John? Lee? Yeah? Yes, sir. Do you guys want to say anything? Does anyone think our judge might be crazy? The judge isn't our problem. Give it time, because I think he's gonna be. I'm talking about us. Abby, you can't talk back to the judge. And Jerry? Jesus! Did you get a haircut just for court? I did. You did. You got a haircut for the judge. I can't even, that is so foreign to me. So is soap. Zing. Let me explain something. It took you two less than 5 minutes to make us look exactly like what Schultz is trying to make us look like. I don't have a problem with what we look like. Jerry likes what we look like. John, Lee, yeah. I always feel like I'm 10 pounds too heavy, but yeah. Dave, I don't like it when we fight. Rennie, Tom should be heard. And he was. But when we walked in here this morning, they were chanting, "The whole world is watching." This is it. We're on. This is what revolution's gonna look like. Real revolution. Cultural revolution. Why did you come here? I got an invitation from a grand jury. Last summer. Why did you come to the convention? To end the war. Guys, before you tether yourself to this man, just know that the very last thing he wants is for the war to end. Hang on. I don't have time for cultural revolution. It distracts from actual revolution. All right. Did everybody get everything off their chest? What in the name of hell was that? Evidently not. You stood up and spoke for Bobby. I made it very clear I'm not his lawyer. I like to sit in on these meetings. You can't. I think I will anyway. Fred, Bobby's life is at stake and you guys are playing to the crowd? Thank you. Shut up. The white guys are in the furniture room while Bobby's in the holding cell. What in the name of hell was that? Evidently not. You stood up and spoke for Bobby. I made it very clear I'm not his lawyer. I like to sit in on these meetings. You can't. I think I will anyway. Fred, Bobby's life is at stake and you guys are playing to the crowd? Thank you. Shut up. The white guys are in the furnished room while Bobby's in the holding cell. The white guys are free on bail. Bobby's locked up because he's under arrest in Connecticut for killing a cop. It's not like he refused to give up his seat on a bus. You have to convince him to let Bill and me represent him. Just for today, at least. The judge is fucking nuts. A little hostile. And I'm sure Gary didn't anticipate that. He's innocent in Connecticut. All right. He's never killed anyone. It's important you all know that. You have to try to convince him. I can't. Try. I have. He needs to do it his way. Keep trying, all right? We're back. Let's go. Abby, Jerry. Unless you're asked a direct question, shut your mouths while we're in that room. This is a political trial. What? This is a political trial. That was already decided for us. Ignoring that reality is just weird to me. There are civil trials and there are criminal trials. There's no such thing as a political trial. Okay. Abby's smarter than you think he is. Cows are smarter than I think he is. Alright, we're gonna stop right there. Yo, this is great. This is great. I love this. This is awesome. I love this shit. This is awesome. And I can hear my acting. I'm there. I can definitely nail an audition. So I'm just gonna keep practicing every day. Just keep practicing, reading the script every day. Just keep knocking them out every day. And if I never get the opportunity, then at least it's on record. Like I created the opportunity for myself. I just acted every role in my favorite films, and that was the best I could do, I guess. Worst case scenario. But best case, I'll be extremely well versed and ready for an audition. Um, so I'm gonna pick a Shakespeare play and do the same thing. Since I'm reading every part of a script, I'll read the Shakespeare play every role. I've read Shakespeare plays already. I did like 5 of them already, so I might pick one that I didn't do before. I would have to go with Midnight Summer's Dream or something. That was like the last one I remember actually starting in like 2019. I never going too much into it. But when I uploaded it on your list, and people did like that one. They liked it. I just never went back and did it again. So yeah, I'll pick a Shakespeare play or something, or some other people's plays. You know. So I'm gonna go eat. Thank you all for listening and watching. You all have a great night. I love you all. Thank you for watching and supporting the channel. Even though you're kind of not, the niggas ain't watching shit, so it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter at all. So it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't give a fuck. Like that shit doesn't bother me. Something in my nose, I don't know, just doing that. But yeah, just you know, I do these videos for me. Fuck y'all niggas. You know. But thank you if you are out there watching. But I just need y'all to know y'all don't run shit. Like I wouldn't not do it because you weren't watching. I already know what it is. You niggas are fake as fuck. You're not gonna watch my shit until I'm dead. So I'm putting everything up before I die. I'm looking long term. Long term as possible. Long term as possible. All these videos will get watched as soon as I die. Because you motherfuckers don't appreciate shit till niggas are dead. So it's like, cool. I understand how petty the way you niggas think. You niggas think at the bottom. Like, you think like a bottom feeder. That's just natural. For most of y'all watching my videos. You know, hopefully you don't, but most likely you do. If I had to bet money, I wouldn't bet on you. I would bet against you, because you would bet against me. So I would do the same stupid ass shit to you. I just bet against you. I bet you think like a fucking bottom feeder. Real shit. I'm not betting that you have superior intelligence or emotional intelligence, or I'm not about to lose my fucking money. If I'm gonna lose my money, it's because you proved me wrong, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You were smarter than I thought you were, nigga, but I'm not about to fucking bet that you're smarter than you are. You know, so it's like cool. But if anybody out there is actually a loyal watcher, I appreciate it. You know. So thank you all. You know, thank you all for watching. Oh, excuse me.